So please join me in welcoming the EY Global Chair and CEO, Janet Truncale. Janet, EY is both a fantastic partner and a customer of SAP, and you are also on your own WISE journey. Tell us a bit more, what is so differentiating for you, for EY, about the WISE journey?
Yeah, so first of all, I just have to say thanks for having us here, and I'm here with over 300 of our EY colleagues with our clients, and we are all so excited to be here, so thank you. Thank you so much for that. We got to wake them up here. They've been sitting for too long. And thanks for mentioning that, because we have this relationship that has been anchored in trust for over 2 decades as a customer, but also as a partner, and I think that's really important. So let's talk first about EY as a customer. And so you might not all know about us, but we are a 400,000 person strong organization across 150 countries. And we needed a partner that could navigate the complexity of our business, and that we found in you. And what's amazing is we roll out things like SuccessFactors, Ariba, Concur consistently across our entire organization. And you mentioned we are on our own journey to RISE. And I think it's important in terms of the timing of that move. We made that together, and that goes back to that foundation and trust. And what I'm most excited about when we move to RISE is streamlined processes, the clean core that you and I have talked about, greater automation, and then greater collaboration across the totality of our organization. That's what I'm excited about. You and I talked a year ago when I took over about our journey, our new strategy. That's also about our growth and where we're transforming as an organization. And we're confident that RISE is able to move and flex with us to fulfill our growth ambitions. So that's really important. Then we pivot to our customers. And this is exciting, because this is where you and I, your organization, our organization gets to partner together and help our clients work on their own transformation journey across the globe. And what's really important there is 70% of our clients are fueled by SAP, so that talks about your market presence. And it's across all sizes of companies, all geographies, all sectors and industries, and you don't need to be as complex as EY to take advantage and benefit from this technology. And you and I get to hear stories all the time where our organizations are teaming together. That's so much fun for us. Every time I see you, we have stories to share. One in particular that talks about that it's not for just large companies is recently we helped a private startup pharmaceutical company with outsourcing of key operations, whether that was finance, accounting, procurement. And really what was impressive is first we did it in 5 months, so we implemented SAP. But what I love about that story is that we were able to take all of that stuff off the table and let the organization focus on what was most important, and that's bringing the life-changing technology to their patients, and I think, and the life-changing solutions to their patients. And this is where across all industries, technology helps organizations focus on what's mission critical and what their purpose is all about.
Janet, I mean, it's music to my ears when you talk about RISE in the context of business transformation. Now, I mean, we are running so many projects together. What kind of role does AI play today already in our customer projects?
Yeah, and we talk about this a lot. When we're looking at AI, this is a topic of the boardroom all the way down to customer engagement. So it's on all levels and all layers of transformation. And there's 4 things that, in my opinion, that we have to get right, especially when it comes to the agentic AI being front and center. And first, I always want to talk about value. Our customers want to see a clear path to value. And that we talk a lot about that in productivity, but I also think we have to talk about that in terms of growth. And so organizations like EY, we want to make sure that our colleagues are working at high value activities. I like to talk about this as operating at the top of your license. That's the productivity piece of it. But what I get excited about is the growth opportunities, and we pivot and we talk about growth, and with all of your embedded solutions, I think, up to hundreds of solutions, then you take a company like ours with our domain and sector expertise and our solutions, that's really where you can propel that value for our clients and create real growth opportunities as well. So I look at productivity and growth. So that is all about value. So then we have to talk about humans at the center. And as CEOs, we're for the first time managing workforces of people and agents. But I'm really focused on keeping humans at the center. Human judgment is more important than ever before when we're looking at AI to make sure that it's ethical and it's being used as intended. And I think that's important. It's about powering the workforce and not replacing the workforce. And I think that's really critical. So then that brings us to trust. And so organizations like EY are highly regulated. Many organizations here with you are highly regulated. And that's going to be really important. And we talked about that already during the plenary. But when it comes to SAP, these are the books and records of our organizations. And so having controls and a risk framework around that is really important from a trust perspective. And then lastly, we look at data, and that's not last. Having a data strategy is really important, and making sure that we're, organizations like ours are always looking to make it more accurate, better, cleaner, and that's going to be really important, and safer. And so really excited to see the partnership that you have with Databricks, and that's where ecosystem partners really come together to accelerate that journey.
I mean, Janet, you are describing beautifully the flywheel about apps, data, and AI. Now, I cannot, have you on stage not talking about uncertainty and the outlook for the year. I mean, you're talking to so many C-level executives. What is your outlook for the year, and what kind of role can tech play to overcome uncertainty?
Yeah. So I don't have a crystal ball, but I am absolutely an optimist, and I do think that things are going to steady out in the weeks and months ahead. But in all of the conversations that I'm having, we talk about this past year being just riddled with complexity, uncertainty, volatility, and it's hard for organizations to make decisions with that and precision decisions, I would say, in this time of uncertainty. But I'm also a believer that organizations can't sit still, change waits for no one, and so we have to be making decisions, and that's where data and technology we talk about that help clients make high-risk decisions in periods of uncertainty, and that's where companies can really differentiate themselves from the competition and spread out from the pack. And then the other piece of that is everybody's in a different place on their journey. We have to recognize that. So some are just starting to clean their data, make sure that it's fit for purpose, and have a strategy. That's one end of the spectrum. At the other end, this is where we talk about that value and where they're harnessing data and really trying to drive a growth agenda. So we have to meet as organizations those clients as to where they are, whether early on or at the end. I think that's really important. And so what we're confident is that your technology helps companies not only transform, but to really bring them on that way to recognize great value.
Thanks a lot, Janet. Also thanks to you for joining us here today in Orlando, and a heartfelt thanks to you and the team for the fantastic partnership we are having.
Oh, we love it.
Many thanks.
Thank you, and have a great Sapphire.
Thank you,
everyone.
Thank you, Janet.